Hi there, Derek Hagan here. I'm a financial therapist, financial planner, and life coach specializing in meaning in life, mindfulness, and resilience here with another meaningful money memo. Let's get to it. So, personal values and meaning in life. What's the connection between these two? Certainly, there's got to be some connection between what we find important and what we find meaningful. So, let's think about this. Value expression are the actions that we take to express our values. Sources of meaning are the things we do to find a meaningful life. So, let's think about the connection. Let's hit up the drawings here. Okay, so let's think about meaning in life first. A meaningful life, according to Michael Steger, is composed of three areas. You've got purpose, you've got coherence, and you've got significance. So these are three aspects or three dimensions of meaning in life. Purpose, let's start with purpose. Purpose is what people often think meaning is. You hear these used as synonyms. People will say meaning and purpose. But through this model, purpose is one subset of a meaningful life. So purpose this is your behavioral element. This is having something to do with your time that feels like it matters. This is the motivational piece because it motivates what you do going forward. Right? So coherence is life makes sense. So it's hard to imagine having a meaningful life if everything is chaotic and nothing makes sense. So the sense of coherence is having a good narrative, a good story. So this is the cognitive component of meaning in life. This is how you think about your life, how you think about how your past. This is how you understand the world around you. And then finally, significance. Significance is that it matters. What matters? Do you feel important? Do you feel like you have value? So this is the affective component. Affect meaning basically your mood. Do you feel good about your life? And this is the evaluative piece. How do you evaluate your life? Does it feel like life is worth living? Do you feel like life has value? So at the middle of these three, this is where you find a meaningful life. Now, sources of meaning. Sources of meaning are how we experience this meaning. So you can think of this like buckets of meaning. We've got buckets of meaning, and we don't want to have a single source of meaning for the same reason we don't want to have a single investment, a single company, because it's too risky. If I have one source of meaning, say my work or my family, and something happens to those, then my only source of meaning goes away. So we want to have more than one source of meaning, but we also want to have sources of meaning in each of these categories to really give us a meaningful life. And some sources of meaning will cover each of these buckets. Family, for example. That might be a purpose component there because it indicates how I want to motivate and move through my life. What do I do with my time? Coherence, because spending time with family makes life make sense, makes it coherent. And significance, I feel valuable when I'm with my family. So there are some sources of meaning that cover all of them, but we want to have sources of meaning across each of these buckets. Okay. So back to these three components of meaning. Personal values then fit most closely to significance because the significance is feeling valuable, like life is worth living. So when you express your values, when you live in alignment with your values, you are adding to the sense of significance in your life, which adds to the sense of meaning in your life. Okay, so personal values are very closely related with the significance dimension of meaning. So you can almost think of like values and how you act out your values as being a subset of your sources of meaning. Because your sources of meaning include that sense of significance, which is your values, but the sources of meaning also include purpose and coherence. But I will say this is overly simplistic because if you're living in line with your values, it probably helps your sense of coherence. It probably helps life make sense if I'm able to live in line with my values. And it's probably true that it can be motivating living in line with my values. So there probably is a motivational and purpose component to it as well. So we'll just have to settle for there's going to be a lot of overlap. So maybe it's not a full subset, but there certainly is a lot of overlap. So bottom line, it can feel like living in alignment with your values will bring you a meaningful life. And then that is pretty true. But we want to make sure that you get the other aspects of a meaningful life matched as well. You want to have areas of your life where you're doing those kinds of things because the personal values They will inform your sources of meaning. And those sources of meaning inform your personal values. This is a loop. So think about what's important to you, what brings you meaning, what brings you value, and how can you do more of that in your life and cut out things that aren't important to you and aren't meaningful to you. You get one life. Live intentionally. Greetings, Derek again. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more, please head to meaning.blog, and there you can learn about all things related to money and mindset and purpose and meaning. And you'll be able to find out how we might be able to work together. You'll find more articles. You'll find links to videos. You'll find online courses, all kinds of things to get you going on your journey towards living more intentionally.